Cool 101.7. We're visiting with Kiernan this morning and talking about the new book, Pretty Sick, The Beauty Guide for Women with Cancer. First of all, good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on. So exciting.
This is this affects so many women. I got to tell you, I used to date a model, and her coach said, if you're not feeling good, dress up and do yourself up just to the tens, and it'll help you feel better. And that's kind of, from what I looked over on your book, that's kind of the attitude you're taking.
Yeah, I mean, that really is sort of the message of the book, which is when you look good, you feel better. And it's so true. You know, as you know, I'm a breast cancer survivor. And when I was able to kind of pull it together and just sort of have a semblance of my normal self, I could power through the day. It made a huge difference in, you know, just how I felt about my life, even though my life was kind of turned on its head at the time.
There aren't many books like this out there which kind of details what to expect. It's almost like the book, so you're going to have a baby, here's what to expect. This is almost like, so you're going to have cancer, here's what to expect, and here's how to deal with it.
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that book, which is the Girlfriend's Guide to Pregnancy, which was an amazing book. And it was so amazing because it was the first time a woman had written a book, like she was talking to her girlfriends and was saying, like, okay, you know what? Here's what's going to happen to your boobs. Here's what's going to happen to your vajayjay. Like, things are about to get real, but you have a baby, and it's amazing. And so we just got to keep our eye on the prize. And I feel like that book was, in many ways, an inspiration to this book because I really loved the tone of it. It was self-deprecating. It was funny. It was real girl talk. It was like talking to your girlfriend. And I felt like that's what was missing for cancer patients. And when I started going through it and researching information, and just the information of how to care for myself wasn't out there. I'd have to go online, and going online is like a scary situation, and the medical books are all very sterile and, you know, stressful to read. And so, you know, I wanted to create a book that gave women that information, but was also sort of uplifting and positive and inspiring.
And even a little bit humorous. I mean, you don't beat around the bush in some of the book. I mean, you touch on everything, skincare, what to wear, how to do this, how to do that. Like you said, it's kind of like the girlfriend talking to girlfriend. All right, here's what's really going to happen. It's not like they say in the books.
Well, I try to take each chapter, takes you chronologically through treatment. So it starts with, you know, your sense of smell and how that changes from chemotherapy and how that relates to your beauty routine and the fragrances you wear and all that kind of stuff. And it goes all the way through to when you are done with treatment, and many women are put into chemically induced menopause, something we call chemopause, and how that affects you, which a lot of people don't really think about. No one told me to prepare for that. I kind of knew it would happen, but I didn't know what that meant until I was like really living those symptoms, and that is equally tough. But, you know, all of these things are manageable, and they're temporary. Well, most of them are temporary. There are some side effects that stay with you longer, and I talk about those as well. But, you know, I wanted to kind of address all the issues, not just hair loss, which everybody knows about, but some of the other things that leave patients wondering what to do and how to care for themselves.
Yeah, and you know, guys can get away with throwing a bandana on or a baseball hat and a T-shirt and everything, but I think it affects women a whole lot differently, and that's why I like this book.
Yeah, I mean, listen, men don't wear makeup on a regular basis. It doesn't matter if a man's eyelashes fall off or if he loses his hair. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't have the impact in our society that when a woman experiences it has.
Right.
You know, for me, I was working, you know, my job, and I continued to work because I had continued paying rent and, you know, and for my car and all that good stuff. So I had to go to work, and I wanted to not feel uncomfortable going to work, because when you look sick, inevitably you get those horrible questions, which is like, oh, how you doing today? Are you okay? And it's like, I appreciate the concern, but I really just don't want to talk about it. You know, I kind of want to go to work to escape what's happening in my life. So being able to kind of look like my normal self always helped me be able to power through that day when I didn't have to answer those questions or feel insecure or uncomfortable in my own skin.
We're talking to Kiernan on Cool 101.7 about the book Pretty Sick, The Beauty Guide for Women with Cancer, How to Look Your Best When You Feel Your Worst. You touched on something there. I think that a lot of people don't want to talk about cancer, and that includes people that had cancer. You know, what's going to happen? And that's why this book needed to be out.
Well, yeah, and it's also like, listen, it's like when people talk to you about, like, giving birth, it's like, the details of it no one wants to really get into. It's like, oh, God, it's like, oh, I don't want to know. It's going to be bad. But the thing is there are a lot of things you can do to offset the harsh side effects that you can be experiencing. Not all of them have answered solutions, but many of them do. And I wanted to be able to get that information into women's hands so that they could care for themselves. Because it's tough and it's crappy and it's miserable, but if there is something very minor that can make a major difference in how your day goes, and why not, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like the Cliff Notes for cancer for women is what I totally got out of it. Kiernan, our guest this morning on Cool 101.7, Pretty Sick, The Beauty Guide for Women in Cancer. Go ahead and shameless plug the heck out of this book. Where can we find it? Is there a website that we can find out more about you or the book?
Yeah, totally. So you can buy the book on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, IndieBooks.com. You can buy it in a lot of supermarkets, like Wegmans is carrying it, and some airports.
Okay.
You can also purchase it on the Pretty Sick Book Facebook page and my website, which is CaitlinKiernan.com.
All right. And then we'll put some links on cool1017.com so that people can get to all of those. But good luck with the book. I think this book was needed, basically, especially among women. After looking through it, just for me, I was like, oh, you know, I wish I had this book.
Well, that is so sweet. I appreciate that because, you know, I just hope it helps get in the right hands to the right women. So
yeah, and I think too, their caregivers and their husbands or significant other or whatever, I think this is a good book for them too.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, you know, there's a lot of things in survivorship that people don't talk about. It's like unexpected changes that I experienced. So I think that you immediately assume you get to the end of the cancer journey and then it's like, oh, good, you're all there. Good, go live your life. But, you know, you're still dealing with some of the residual effects of treatment. So this book has that, and I hope it does help survivors as well.
The book is called Pretty Sick, The Beauty Guide for Women with Cancer. This is Kiernan. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.